lot of money. But now fast forward to July 2025. Out of nowhere, the US Treasury steps in and says, don't worry guys, we got you. We're gonna stabilize your currency without congressional approval. We're gonna use the ESF mechanism, right? And yeah, that helps secure a potentially strategic partner. But as a side effect, it also happens to save billions of dollars for the exact funds and people that placed those bets on the recovery that never ended up happening. At least not organically. And because the official story doesn't tell us that this is a bailout, that's not the framing, no one can really criticize it as market intervention. But behaviorally, it looks like one. The money is coming from the Exchange Stabilization Fund, which remember, sits inside the Treasury. So if those pesos lose value, which they are, it's the Treasury that takes the hit. And when the Treasury takes the hit, that shortfall gets filled with new debt. New debt that taxpayers ultimately repay. And this actually has had real negative consequences on people like US farmers. They're struggling because of costs and drought conditions and grain and beef prices. In other words, on a practical level, we are subsidizing private investors and our competitors. So this is where a lot of people have that problem with what's happening because it also sets a very bad example. The US government is now publicly saving billionaire investors who made bets that went bad. So then if this becomes the model, doesn't it tell other hedge funds that the US can save you as long as you can, work out a backdoor deal, and it can just be reframed as we're going to defend the dollar, right? We're going to defend American values. But the reality is that the US is already running multi-trillion-dollar deficits. We're borrowing to fund programs, and somehow we're supposed to have an extra $40 billion laying around to gamble on another country's hyperinflated currency. So that doesn't make much sense. But let me just tie it all together and explain how this story is part of a much bigger picture. Because yes, this definitely helps Argentina. And it definitely helps the billionaire friends of this administration. But I don't think it's just about Argentina. It's also about the US fighting its war with China over the idea of what money should look like in the future. Because think about what's happening. China's getting ready to build its gold corridor, right? The node of vaults across Asia, Africa, Latin America. And they're literally creating a parallel financial system backed by their economy with the money that's redeemable for gold.